You're listening to the Drum Shed Podcast.
Welcome to the Drum Shed Podcast. Today we have got Jeremy from Low Boy Beaters, and of course Riza is over there in the corner where he should be. Welcome, Jeremy. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you, Matt? How are you, Riza?
Good, thanks, Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm
Good.
great. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you spending some time. What time is it where you are now?
I'm in California, Santa Barbara, California. So it's about 10:30 a.m.
Nice. Is it raining and cold like I expect it to be?
in California. No, well, it's gloomy.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I didn't grow up in California, and so I thought that it was just sunny and 72 every single day of the year. But it turns out that in like May, June, July, we get a lot of gloomy days here. But in the afternoon, the fog will kind of burn off, and it will be 72 and sunny. So, but for now, yeah.
My experience of California would have been Chips and TJ Hooker, so it was always sunny.
Right, yeah, exactly.
In fact, I think one episode Chips wore raincoats because it was raining, but it was a big deal.
They must have filmed it somewhere else.
I thought you were talking about chips as in potato chips at first.
No,
but-
California Highway Patrol. The
John,
Chippies.
yeah, John and John.
Great
and
show
Tom.
from my childhood. Yeah, I've forgotten all about
Absolutely.
it though. I need to go see if it's on Hulu or Netflix.
Well,
Eric
do you know-
Estrada and who was the other?
Who
John.
knows?
I don't know what his name is, but it's John. The weird thing is, I know we're off topic, but it's a warm up. My brother bought Chips 99 on DVD the other day. He's just sent me a copy of. Well, he sent me a thing to get one if I want one, and you can get episodes season 1 and 2 on Apple, I believe. Of
Okay.
Chips.
All right. I'm gonna do it.
TJ Hooker, I think the same. You can get 1 and 2, but you can't get much more, I don't think. But anyway,
Do you remember Cindy in Chips?
yes, Heather Lockyer.
Was it Heather Lockyer? In Chips?
Was it Cindy? Was it Cindy or was it?
No,
the other-
Heather Lockyer was in TJ Hooker.
Oh, sorry. TJ Hooker was the captain's daughter, and was it Cindy? Just don't
No,
Don't
Cindy
question me
was
on
the
TJ Hooker.
glamorous police woman in Chips.
Okay. Did she drive a motor or did she drive a car?
I think she possibly a car.
Right. So she wouldn't have been Seven Mary because the Mary is for motorcycle and the 4 Adam 30 is Adam for automobile.
Wow.
You know that?
Your depth of knowledge of Chips is
Yeah.
impressive.
Well, no, 4 Adam 30 is TJ Hooker's call sign.
Oh, okay.
Um,
All right.
but
Got it.
but any Adam unit is automobile, and any M unit, Mike, is motorcycle.
All right. The more
Mary.
you know.
So you say Mary in America, we would call it Mike, but
Mhm.
anyway.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. More
Drums?
importantly, Jeremy,
Yeah.
what is that interesting looking snare drum behind you?
Oh, that is built. Oh my God. Now the brand is eluding me, but it's a UK builder.
Tiki, Highwood,
No, it builds it all out of all metal. Oh my God, what is the guy's name?
not Hive, no.
No, it's
Spawn.
no. Let me
Spawn.
pull it off
British?
and
No, don't pull it off. Don't.
no,
no.
I'm gonna pull it off now.
Are you sure? Oh dear.
Yeah, I'm sure
the
some
books are
books are
gonna
gonna
fall.
drop. It's gonna be a disaster, but
Oh my God.
VK drums. VK drums.
Oh,
VK.
Alan Van Cleef.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a beautiful drum. There we go, the VK logo.
Yeah.
I need to play it more because it's a beautiful drum, but I just keep it on the shelf. So, I like to surround myself with beautiful things.
Is it his stuff is normally aluminium, is it? Or aluminum?
That sounds right. It's been years since I got this, and now I don't remember the details of it.
The
But
heavy
yeah, I mean,
stuff will be
it's all metal, and I mean, it's just a great sounding drum, which is like tons of high end crack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're known for tons of high-end crack in the UK.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh dear. Back onto the police story. Right. So
Right.
you've also got a load of beaters behind you.
I do. Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. Yeah, I'm in the shop right now, which is pretty small space. It's like a converted two-car garage. Man, I really messed the books up, didn't I? It's gonna look like total shit for the rest of this
Sorry,
recording, but
So
my
it
my
is
I'll
what
put
it
fault.
I'll put
is.
our
It is what
logo
it
over it. I'll put the logo over
Yeah,
it.
totally put the logo there. But yeah, I mean, I just, this is just a bunch of stuff that we have in stock and ready to ship. But yeah, I'm just here in the shop and, just got in about an hour ago and getting ready to build some beaters for the day.
Is that what
So
you are you the builder? Are you just is it I'm gonna be the novice. Riza knows more. I'm gonna be the end user that is new to this.
hmm
So do you build all of them yourself?
Right now I do. It's been kind of different over the course of the company. Um, but the actual wood pieces, so like this right here, this is how they come in. We have a partner in Maine who makes these for us, a commercial wood shop that makes these. So this part is not handmade here in the shop,
Mm.
but these come in like this, and then we laser engrave the logo on it and stain, paint, oil, assemble, do all that stuff here. So yeah, I just try to outsource where it makes sense, where someone else can do something quicker and higher quality than I could do it, right? I mean, these
Yeah.
pieces come in like ridiculously consistent, like everyone is perfect. And then, sort of, part of what makes us different than a lot of other not just bass drum beater companies, but drum companies, is that customers can go on our website and customize the look of the beaters, so they can choose a different color for each section and the stripes and the striking surface. So, it's sort of important that that stuff we do in house, so that we can just, stock just thousands and thousands of these, but we can turn them into literally like millions of different items depending on what people order.
Nice.
so can I just I don't we mentioned this yet. Jeremy's company is called Blowboy Beaters.
Yeah, low. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean officially low boy, but we go by low boy beaters or low boy custom
Blowboy.
beaters. Yeah,
Yeah, I guess Blowboy Beaters is your main product line, isn't it?
it is. Yep.
Yeah. I first came across you only about 2 or 3 weeks ago
Mm.
when I saw your much shared Instagram post, um, and I was vaguely aware of your profile, but I'd never really thought much about beaters and bespoke beaters. Um, uh, Only in as much as should I use the felt or plastic side of a
hmm
standard DW beta or whatever, and I saw your post. I don't know if you chance have listened to our last podcast that came out last week.
I haven't.
Oh, probably a good thing, Jeremy. Because because I asked the question. I saw your initial post, which was saying that you'd heard word about another company trying to replicate your design,
hmm
and then I saw the second post saying that everything had been nicely sorted for you by you. So it was kind of put to bed, but it piqued my interest about low boy beaters, and I was wondering aloud on the last podcast, last episode, um, what is so unique about your beta head? Um, because to me, I got it. I bought one, leather striking surface, the standard size, not the lightweight one.
hmm
Uh, and I'm looking at it, thinking, it's a conical piece of wood. You know, uh, what what's so special about it? I kind of half expected that there would be some sort of innards or something in the workings of it. But since then, that's what I was wondering aloud in the last podcast. Since then, I've used this beta picked it twice, used it in God knows 3 or 4 rehearsals, and I've got to say, Jeremy, I fucking love it. I mean,
That's great.
I'm an absolute convert to the extent I was looking at your website this morning, thinking I'm going to buy a lightweight one to try it out. And should I buy felt or leather? Probably not wood, but I am sold. I'm absolutely sold.
Love it.
So I've gone in about 2 weeks from thinking, what the hell is the fuss about? Whoa, this is brilliant. I gigged with it on Saturday night, and it just feels great. So please don't listen to the last podcast where I might sound a bit cynical.
I don't think
fair enough.
I don't think it sounded that you were being off at all. I thought you were asking the question, and I think this is a. I don't know if Jeremy was worried about where that was going, but I was. No, I was. but I, to be fair, that's almost perfect. If I guess, I don't know, but like someone that wasn't sure, and like out of me, Riza does play a lot more. He's in a lot of bands. And he does play and gig and rehearse and practice a ton more than I do. But so he's much better person to try, to put this to the test. So I think it's and he's quite honest as well. He's quite upfront, aren't you? And he loves it. So is that good news for you to hear that reaction?
Oh, it's amazing. And the funny thing about it is that I was the same way, where I didn't think about beaters much before I started this company. I had the same like DW two-way beater, and once in a while I'd flip it around and, like whatever. I didn't give it a whole lot of thought. And I think one of the differences between how Lowboy was started and how a lot of other drum companies are started is that, like, often you'll hear the story, whether it's true or not. I mean, sometimes it's just marketing, where people say, I could never find the X product that I wanted, so I made it myself. Right. So it's someone who's like maybe obsessed about this thing for a long time and just like couldn't find what they wanted. And so they decided to make it. And Lowboy came about a little bit differently, where I had worked in the musical instruments industry for a long time, and I decided I want to do my own thing. And I just was sort of like, thinking about all the products that are made for drum sets. And this was 2014, so 11 years ago. And the fact is that in basically every other product category, you had all of these really high-end boutique products that were being made, whether it's drums or cymbals or bags or pedals or whatever it is. And there wasn't really that type of a product for bass drum beaters. And so I thought, well, maybe I could do that. And so I think it helped to come to the problem a little bit fresh, where it's like, I don't really think about bass drum beaters. I just play. And
but was it the desire to do your own thing that came before thinking
Yes.
of the product? Yeah.
Yep, exactly. It was. Yeah. And then and so I had I started the company with a partner as well. He's no longer with the company, but there were two of us. And the initial thing was really like, let's make something that looks beautiful, that is different than everything else that's out there. And so let me grab one that's actually finished. So like, I mean, this is the final product here. And so the initial idea was like, let's do something that looks different than just a round piece of wood or a piece of felt or, the two-way beaters or whatever. And then I think because we designed something that just the form is completely different than everything that else is out there, it allowed for some other sort of like accidental things, like I think that the balance of this beater is really great, where, like the weight is evenly distributed on either side of this rod. And when you sit down and play this, to me, like the goal is that you shouldn't feel it when you're playing, right? It should just feel like an extension of your foot. It should be perfectly balanced so that as soon as you start playing, like you're never really thinking about the beater again, right? Because you're playing drums, like you don't really want to think about that stuff. And so I think that having this different shape helped us create something that feels better. And then at the same time, like having this big round striking surface here, the accident there was just creating something that just moves more air on the kick drum than a round beater is going to. I mean, there's just like so much more power that you get when this big piece of wood, or, we do felt or leather, um, on the end, like when that engages with the head, it's just a bigger event that happens, And so I think that coming at it in a completely fresh way helped us do something that was different, that not only, was a product that I think looks cooler than the other beaters on the market, but then also felt better and sounded better than the other stuff out there. So that's kind of like where what the journey was to a final product.
So my foot is quite weak. I'm a weak bass drum player. Have you noticed? Yeah, thank you. This is nodding to the listening public. Do you think that the weight or the way the power, does it aid? Does it? We were talking earlier before we started about him, Riza buying a lightweight one, to match his personality. Sorry, and banter is free with this podcast. And we weren't. I was saying, well, maybe the lighter one is softer and quieter, but because we didn't know, or if so we're going to ask you that question, obviously, because you're the man that makes them. But does it make a difference in the way and the power you said about it being powerful? So if you're if you're a bit weak on your foot, is there an advantage to having a particular version of your beater?
Weak meaning you don't think your technique is good, or
No, sorry, so not very powerful.
Not
So,
very powerful.
So light foot, yeah.
Yeah.
And both, to be fair, in my situation.
Yeah. I mean, if you're looking for more power, yeah, I think that having that larger, we call it the standard beater, is going to generate a little bit more power. So it would probably aid you in that. I mean, I think that as a rule, my guess is that most people who buy the lightweight beater, it's going to be people who are playing quieter music, like jazz or acoustic type stuff, so that they really have a lot of control over their volume, or the opposite end of the spectrum where it's like metal players, double kick, and they're buying a pair of lightweight beaters because they're just going for speed. And like for me on a single kick, personally, the lightweight is a little bit too light for me. I like having a little bit more. I like being able to feel it.
Okay.
Because that's something we were talking about before. Is I ignorant thing, because I've never looked at beaters. Do lightweight ones give you more speed or power or what? And you just answered that.
Yeah. Thanks.
That's okay. Can you hear the difference between different beaters, or is that about feel for the player? I mean, I know you
in terms of the two weights.
Yeah, not the head, not the striking surface.
Not really. The standard beater, there's a little bit more low end to it. But I think, if you're in a situation where you're miking the kick, like I don't think that it's something you're really going to hear. I think it's really a feel thing between, in why you would make a decision between the two.
And so you've kind of So you started the company, you said about 10 years ago?
2014, so 11 years ago.
11 years ago. Um, what are your, if you don't mind me asking, what are your plans for the company going forward?
Yeah. Just gonna try to stay open. I'm just gonna try.
Yeah.
As,
Yeah.
as
Try
a
to-
small business owner, I know how you feel.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to stay in business. Um, you know, I mean, it's an interesting thing, and we'll probably talk a bit about the industry as a whole later
Yeah.
on. But I mean, it's changed a lot for us because I mean, well, when we started for the first year or so, almost everything we sold was direct on our website because most drum shops thought that stocking $30 or $40 bass drum beaters was crazy and no one would ever buy them. So we didn't get a whole lot of interest from drum shops initially. And then when they saw that there was some buzz, we started selling a lot to drum shops, and that became the majority of our business. And in the last couple of years, I've seen the business from independent drum shops drop, which is tough. We sell a lot to Sweetwater, we sell a lot to Thomann in the EU. We sell on Amazon, which I don't love on a personal level, but again, I'm just trying to like keep the doors open. So we kind of have to do what we have to do. Um, so I mean, a lot of what I focus on really is just like figuring out the best ways to make the product as available as possible to as many people as we possibly can. And of course, like when I have new product ideas, like we'll come out with new stuff. Like a few years ago, we came out with um uh a product called the Power Switch. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
So it's on my list here, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds good.
And it's, in a nutshell, it's, I mean, as almost boring of a product as you could possibly think. It replaces the set screw on your bass drum pedal, the one that keeps your beater in place. And it's a thumb screw with kind of a ratcheting action because, if you think about how tight that space is, you can't put a normal thumb screw in there because it'll hit the metal and you won't be able to rotate it 360 degrees. And so with this, when you install it, it kind of ratchets, so you tighten it a little bit and then you back it up and tighten it to the point where it's tightening up the beater. And then at that point, whenever you want to take the beater out, you don't need to fumble around with your drum key. You just with your thumb unlock it, put a new one in, or whatever it is, and lock it down. So I have a long list of product ideas like that, and it's kind of like the challenge is getting to them,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
wear a lot of hats. So I mean, really, like the short answer after my long answer is I spend most of the time just like trying to get product out and just trying to make sure that that retailers have product and that we're available wherever drummers want to get our stuff.
And so,
Oh, cool.
I mean, I bought one, as I said, a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Who'd you buy it from?
well, reluctantly, I've ended up buying it from Thomann.
Mm-hmm.
I say reluctantly, none of the shops in the UK seem to have them in stock.
Hmm.
So that was my question. If you're a drummer in the UK, what is the best way? Is it ordering direct or what? I didn't want to buy it off Amazon, to be honest.
Yeah. The UK's been a bit of a challenge for us over the years. We the the first shop in the UK that started selling our stuff was Rusty Drums.
Yep.
And he still sells and stocks a few of our beaters. We used to do a lot of business with Sound Attack. I'm sure
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
those guys, and sadly they closed their doors 2 or 3 years ago. I think they were
Yeah.
a really good dealer for us. We used to sell a lot of beaters through Drum Shop UK, and um,
Fortunately, I spoke to I initially ordered from Andy, and he rang me and said, "Sorry, mate, dwindling stock and we haven't got that in.
Yeah, and again, this is like a bigger conversation about drum shops, but it's become more and more difficult to work with drum shops over the years too, because I think people are just stretched really thin, So I mean, this gets into the weeds of like how things work, but there used to be a guy at Drum Shop UK named Jean-Luc, and he was a big champion of our products, and we sold a ton there. And then he left the company,
wasn't it
and
Paul
then all
Paul
of a
Luke?
sudden it was like we couldn't get a hold of anyone there. I assume that they still wanted to sell the beaters, but just people don't return emails, and all of a sudden, like, okay, I guess you can't buy through Drum Shop UK anymore. Gear for Music sells our beaters. They do a good job. So yeah, I mean, really to answer your question, it's like Gear for Music, Toman, um, and maybe Rusty Drums.
Yeah, I think it was
Think of
Paul
Rusty
Paul
Drums, though.
Luke Gifford that you dealt with before.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Yep.
Johnny.
Yeah.
I think it's Paul
Yeah.
Luke, but
Oh, sorry, my bad.
it's
Yeah,
Paul. I think it's Paul Luke Gifford.
you're right. Yep.
Yeah, he doesn't work there anymore, but we I know him quite well, and I know the guys at Drum Shop quite well. Yeah, I can see the challenge, and it's always about. I mean, we as players or buyers and customers, we obviously want the stuff, we want access to as much as we can get, and we want to avoid going to certain places because we're trying to help, or we're trying to prevent. We don't want to be in a situation where one day that's the only place you can go is the A
Mm-hmm.
word,
Yep.
or something like that. It makes me think of the film Wally, but it's a child's film, it's a Disney film, but it makes me think of Wally, where by and large it's the big company that's just taken over the whole thing and everyone's had to leave the planet. But anyway, it's a bit dramatic.
Yeah.
But you can see that sort of thing happening if we don't support local small businesses like yourself, and make it accessible, and things like, I don't know, I'm not politically minded, but things like Brexit, tariffs,
Mm-hmm.
wars, all those
Mm-hmm.
sort of things get in the way, obviously, of getting products around the world, and taxes, and just hikes in everything. So that is the sad thing, but you know there's still an army of us out there that want to support, and I kind of try to be a bit, maybe a little bit naive, but optimistic, in the sense that um that we still want to be buying stuff. I mean, all day long. It's strange, isn't it, with the internet, with, I say the internet like it's just been invented, like I'm an old man, but with Instagram in particular, and the in your face social media ones, the ones that are just right there, more so than YouTube maybe, but they're reminding you all the day long. They're advertising stuff all day long, and there's more knowledge of what's around. It's
Mm-hmm.
possibly creating demand, and yet less opportunity to go and get it, or go to a shop and try something, because they're either a 2 hour, 3 hour, 5 hour drive, or there's just no one nearby. And if they do go, the stock might not be there, because it's generally might be ordered on
Right.
spec of when you want it, rather
Yep.
than carried, because of that risk of carrying stock. And I may work in a drum department one day a week in a shop. I don't have no involvement with purchasing and stuff like that, apart from saying, "Can we do this? Can we do this?" But it's a business that I'm not particularly experienced in. But from a customer's point of view, which is kind of the angle of this podcast, is we are the end user, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
We'd like to have more available of everything, and we don't want to necessarily go and buy from the place that will get it to you before you've even pressed buy, because that quick delivery thing we've all got a bit used to, and that, or I can have it before 1 o'clock. You don't need it before 1 o'clock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we fall for it, don't we? And
I think that, and then so I'm 48 years old, and my very first job, I was 17, and I worked for a family music store, which basically means they sold everything: band instruments, pianos, organs, some drums, actually not many drums, guitar, pro audio. They gave lessons, they did sheet music, all that kind of stuff, you know. So like I kind of like remember the industry before um e-commerce, you know. I mean, the internet was there,
Yeah.
but before e-commerce. And I think another really tough thing that I, I don't probably doesn't get talked about enough is that back in those days, what a music store was selling a lot of was beginner level instruments. You know, they're selling the inexpensive drum sets, the inexpensive, you know, Squire Strats
Yeah.
to parents who, you know, are buying their kids their first instruments. And I think that probably most of that business has gone away, you know, is people are just like going on Amazon. And I don't know. I mean, I don't work in a drum shop now. You're there one day a week, so you can tell me your experience. But I think, in other words, I guess, I don't know. It's a tough thing for a shop to rely just on pro business, even if they are being supported, you know, by a
Yeah.
local community.
Yeah. I mean, my general conversation for that day is my son's 3. He's just started drums. I'd like to buy a £3,000 drum kit. Then it's not quite like that, but sometimes it is a bit like that because there's possibly a little bit more money in that area than maybe a bit of common sense. But
Mm-hmm.
I sell an awful lot of starter drum kits, but they're all electric. I mean, not all, but we do
Mm.
sell
Mm-hmm.
acoustics. But the majority of the customer, on my day that I'm there, it's mum and
What do you
dad
sell
coming
most
down.
of, Matt? Is it TD-17?
Um, it's Roland. Um, the entry level, the 17 is probably the biggest one. The 7, and then the Alesis. Um, so we don't. So we also have the higher end, the Zildjian and the you know the VADs and things like that. But and we have acoustic kits, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we have beaters. We have DW. We stock, you know, heads and all the things you'd expect. Sticks and things. Not a massive range of sticks. A lot of interest in the Sonic Energy, or I call it Sonic Energy. That's just a brand by Meinl, but the hand pans, the gongs, and all that stuff is quite massive.
Hmm.
Tongue drums and things like that. It's massive at the moment.
Interesting.
Um, yeah, it seems to be the the boomy. It's the booming time for that, and and mallets. They're like $300, pounds, whatever, for a mallet for a £2,000 gong. Um, and there's a lot of that going on at the moment.
Huh.
So there's an idea.
Yeah,
Cylindrical
right.
mallet.
Totally.
Jeremy,
But
can I
I mean, I was just going to go back. Sorry,
sorry.
Teresa. I was going to bring Riza back because he always brings me back. We were talking about the different weights, but we didn't
Mm-hmm.
get to talk about the different striking surfaces. So you've got the leather, the wood, and the felt. And we
And lamb's wool. There's 4.
lambswool. Is it lambswool or is it synthetic or
It is actually real lamb's wool.
cool? Cool.
Yeah.
So, so they make a difference to the sound, obviously.
Huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On that specific subject, Jeremy, what I'm intrigued by this. What do you reckon the life cycle of one of your beaters is?
Mm-hmm.
Is there an average there?
Yeah. I mean, if you're buying the beater with the wood striking surface, I mean, it should last forever. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, th there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to play that beater forever. Um,
But say I've got the leather one. If you had the leather or the felt,
mm-hmm,
and I'm leading to something which has always intrigued me. So
mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it should last a long time, kind of depending on the surface that it's hitting. One thing that, you know, I said before, I didn't think a lot about bass drum beaters before starting this company, but the other thing that I didn't think of was that if you are using a beater with a surface that's not wood or plastic, if you're hitting something that has a texture, right? If you're hitting like a coated head or like an impact pad, like the Black Evans pads are, like they have like that woven material, like though that's basically like every time you hit the drum, rubbing a piece of sandpaper on your felt, and it'll wear it down quickly. So I mean, if someone is playing a lot, like you could literally wear down the felt within a couple of months. But if you are playing it um, on a smooth surface, just a smooth head or a smooth impact pad, like that beater should last years as well. The lamb's wool a little bit less, but the cool thing about the design there is that, yeah, I mean the whole thing, right, is like the more delicate the material, it's going to wear out faster, right? That just kind of makes sense. And the lamb's wool beater, each one of we call them a puff. Like each lamb's wool puff is actually held onto the beater with a magnet. So once you wear that out, you can buy replacements. We sell them as 3 packs, and you can just literally you just grab it by by the fuzz and and take it out and attach a new one.
Is that painful?
Well,
Can we get like a wig like that for my head? That would be great.
yeah,
Just
right.
put it back on.
Exactly. Yeah,
Caught by the
totally.
fuzz. But so the reason I ask this is that also a negative for you if your beaters last a long time? I've got a DW 5000 that I've had for 6 or 7 years, and I think I was on my third or fourth beater with it, and I just
Mhm.
thought of them as a consumable. But I bought a low boy one, and I'm thinking, okay, this should last a lot longer. But that's kind of a bit of a bummer for you, isn't it? Because
Yes.
you'd want me to be buying one every year or something.
Yeah, I mean, it is like a battle that I have. I have like the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other one, right? Because the devil is like, you're a businessman and you should you should build planned obsolescence into your product so that people have to rebuy them every couple of years, every couple of months. But then the angel is like me as a drummer that's like, I just like things that work. I
You
just like buying things that work. And
Perhaps you could be like Apple and do updates every 3 weeks.
yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
send them a signal to it so it runs out of battery and you have to buy a
yeah,
new one.
yeah.
Stops working.
Here's the thing though, I mean, to give another angle on that answer is that when the company started, I thought exactly like that. Someone's going to buy one beater, or if they play double kick, they're going to buy a pair of beaters, and then we're never going to hear from them again. But we actually get a lot of return customers because, someone will buy a wood beater and they'll be like, this is fun on my rock band, but then I also do a lot of studio work and I don't want something so intense. So they buy a felt beater or a lambswool beater, or, they've got a couple of different kits and they want to customize the finishes to match each one.
Yeah.
So actually we have a lot of return customers. They're just, not buying the same beater over and over, but they're kind of trying different flavors of things. So, we do have some good repeat customers for sure.
So I'm actually getting a little bit excited about drum beaters now.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing because, like, when I was 16, I had a Premier pedal with half leather and half lambswool, and it kind of wore off. And it was probably made out of cork. It was really light. I've never seen it since, and I could probably find one if I looked.
I think I have one in a box behind me somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found it on eBay a few years ago.
An old Premier one, but I think it was the blue metal, kind of the turquoisey metal pedal or something. But and I had a Fleetfoot or Fleetwood, no, it was Fleetfoot pedal, which one of our listeners, Bob from Bob's Drum Schools, Bob Wynn, who said to say hi, by the way. He said to say hi.
Love that guy.
He didn't correct me, but he confirmed what I was saying when I last said Fleetwood or Fleetfoot. Anyway, but I'm getting excited thinking I know I said I'm a bit weak on the foot, but I'm also a light player, and I like playing a bit of jazz, and I like an 18 bass drum, and a 20. And I've got lots of bass drums, but I'm quite into my 18s at the moment. Just a little 18 here. And I'm thinking lightweight with a lambswool on it. Because I like the idea of the changing of it, because I've got the Vic Firth one, and it's like my head where it's flat here and then there's hair at the back.
Right.
Now I suppose you're probably supposed to rotate them a bit, aren't you, to wear down, and I haven't done that stupidly.
There's
but
not
I love
much hair at the back, to be honest.
No, there's not much, but that's through choice.
Oh,
See, I cut that to make it look less, heavy. You know what it's like, Reese.
I can't.
I don't know why we keep talking about hair. This man here is the youngest man here, and he's got a full head of hair. What's going on? So I like the idea of having the beta and then buying the replacement. Is that what you just buy the replacement fluff? Puff?
Yeah, exactly.
Wicked. I want it. Yes.
Yes.
And do you do different colors? You say you can do the custom
on the beaters. Yeah.
on the beta. Yeah, on the beta. Yeah, I'm thinking
the
like
hair in different colours. Like,
shush, stop it. Calm down.
I know. Yeah, we should. We should.
So I'm thinking of a dark wood with a seafoam stripe to match my Dixon kit.
Yeah, I love it. We can do that.
The Zach Grooves
Jeremy,
beta.
Can people from the UK order custom stuff from you direct?
Yes, absolutely.
Is that okay? I didn't realise that.
Right.
Yep.
I'll be doing that later.
Yeah, because I was thinking of a red and black one just to.
And since it's a small light package, I think it costs like $14 or $15 to ship over to the UK. So, it's not crazy expensive. So yeah, we definitely get a lot of international orders. I mean, usually the way that it works is that someone will order just like the bread and butter, like natural wood with black stripes through retailers. And then when they want something really crazy, then they come to us direct.
I understand you said there's you and one other person working. Is that correct?
Yeah, right now, yeah. I have a longtime employee. He's been with me for about 5 years. His name is Nate, and he works remote out of Minneapolis. He does all of our wholesale, account management, and then all of our artist relations.
So you do the actual manufacturing of the. But you mentioned you subcontracted making of the actual head.
Exactly. Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So I just do like the finishing and the assembly here.
Cool. It's good to know that my one's been finished by you then. I
will be touching it.
Touch my beta anyway.
Yeah. Getting a bit weird now. So this is a bit too light, so we'll have to go for the slightly more green, but I'll give you the colors later.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, it's fun, isn't it? How because I think actually as drummers we do like to, like, we might buy it off the shelf, but we might like to sort of fine tune things ourselves. We choose our heads, we choose our tuning, our setups, and a thing like this, I think the beta, it's not necessarily seen by anybody unless you're famous enough to have a foot camera, or like in the old days on Top of the Pops where someone's down on the floor.
Right.
But it is something that is quite personal and I think quite cool to have custom, or have your, even if it's not custom, to have this something that's a bit different. And I haven't really ever thought about changing betas. I've literally got the DW5 and 9, and I have the regular standard betas with that. Back in the 90s, when you were born, and
No.
and Riza was leaving university, we used to stick a 10 pence piece on the clear Remo Power Stroke, whatever it was, head with a bit of gaffer tape over it and a wooden beater.
Yeah.
To get that click, that Simmons sound. We were looking we had an acoustic Pearl Export 22 by 16, obviously,
Mhm.
in black, obviously.
That was my
And
first drum kit.
that was my first brand new drum kit. Yeah, my first drum kit was an Olympic in
Mm,
red.
Same,
That's what
same. Pearl Export.
Pearl Export. It was
nice.
my first new one. Yeah, but yeah, so you put the head on, you put the 10p on, or the 2 pence piece on, or the dime, or whatever, and that would give you that clicky sound that you'd get from an electronic Simmons kit, but it would
Yeah.
absolutely kill the head.
Right.
After-
Yeah. And actually, the fact that our beaters, the striking surface is flat, you get a little bit more of that click, right?
Yeah.
That's also tone wise, not just that it's moving more air. You're just kind of getting a bigger sound, but especially with the wood beater, like you get more definition, you get more attack with a flat beater than you do a round one. So it's not quite like, we would have taped a nickel or a quarter
yeah,
to the head. It's not that, not exactly that same tone. I think it's
Yeah.
better, but yeah, for sure.
Probably better for the
Certainly.
head.
I mean, I've gone
Yeah.
from the DW felt beater to the leather one on yours, and
Mhm.
there was a noticeable difference in beefiness, but not too much. But, because I stopped using the plastic side because I just wanted a little bit less clickiness and a bit more warmth.
Yeah.
And the leather gives a nice compromise.
Yeah, it's right in between wood / plastic and felt. It's that middle ground. Because I mean, it's there needed to be something there, right? Because the plastic it's pretty intense. I mean, if you're really digging in on a loud section or a loud tune, like, yeah, I mean, it's great because it cuts through everything. But like, then once the rest of the band drops down, like sometimes it's just a little bit too much. But where a felt beater like isn't, just doesn't have the attitude that you need. And so leather is like right in between there. Like it's slappy, it's got a lot of attack, but some of that clickiness is rolled off a little, like the high end clickiness is rolled off a little bit and it's replaced with warmth. So it is a really nice middle ground.
Definitely,
Yeah.
Matt. You should get one.
I'm thinking I would probably, thinking of the shipping, I'd probably think about getting a leather one and a lamb's wool one.
Mm-hmm.
I think, because then I have both options. Although I couldn't put them on the double pedal, but I hardly ever use a double pedal anyway. That would be quite weird. Two different ones.
It would
Do
be a
you
little strange,
need-
but
Yeah. Do you need want a beater that would make you play quieter?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm quite happy.
Maybe try not using the bass drum at all.
Well, to be fair, because I'm not very good at it, if it's quieter, no one can notice the mistakes.
Yeah, I've seen that.
But you have to bring your beat. Have you got it handy in your kit? Can you bring it down to the next rehearsal, to the next jam we do on Thursday? I can see it.
I'm not bloody
Come
stick
on.
it on that.
Look, we're
house
trying to
kit.
promote this, and we can wave it. Show other. There's about
No.
20 drummers in that room.
No,
20
fuck off.
customers.
I'm not doing that. I mean, if
so
you're
rude.
coming to my gig on Saturday, I'll be using it there.
Okay, I'm probably going to be there. See, he's so busy, isn't he? This guy.
But are you coming, Jeremy?
I absolutely will be there.
Yeah, he'll be there.
Fabulous.
I'll be
So
there
I've got a
Thursday
question.
too.
I have a question about Lowboy, the name, because I know Lowboy as the hi hat on the floor, or the
Yeah.
not hi hat, the Lowboy.
Right, totally.
So is that anything to do with it?
That's where it came from.
Yeah.
Yeah. The story behind the name is that we spent again, I started the company with a partner, and it took us like a year from initial idea to selling beaters. And through most of that time, we did not have a brand name and we just couldn't think of anything good. And one day, Chris, my partner, said, well, what if we name it after like a really like old school jazz drummer, cause the old jazz drummers like Baby Dobbs, like they had all these like awesome names. He's like, maybe, we can find something there. And so I spent like an hour on Wikipedia, just like looking at lists of old jazz drummer names, and like just like nothing inspired me. And then somehow I just got off on a tangent of just old drum terms, And I had heard of the low boy before, but then when I saw it again there, it just kind of hit me. I was like, oh, it's a cool name. There's the low part of it. I guess it's like a low frequency tone is what we're going for. And like, it just sounds cool. And, and now, I mean, like DW has their low boy
Yeah.
pedal that they make, but they hadn't at the time. So,
No.
when we came out with this, I mean, it literally been like 80 years since anyone in the industry had used that term. So yeah, so we just kind of like brought it back from the dead.
So,
I grew up with
may
my
I ask?
uncle. Oh, sorry. I grew up with my uncle living in the house, and he pretty much, he's a drummer, still is. He's 72, still gigging. And he just always called the hi-hat the low boy. So
Oh,
even though it
really?
was a hi-hat, so we all got the old low boy out, he'd say,
Oh, I
"Oh,
love it.
I need a new low boy stand." So I just knew it as a low boy as a kid. I used to hide in his big LeBlanc cases when he was cleaning I used to like always surrounded by drums when I was growing up. And the low boy was just an ordinary phrase in my house, even though it was
That's
referring
cool.
to the hi-hat.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Sounds like a cool guy.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. Yeah, it's
He doesn't
the
play the
reason I
drums.
play.
He plays the traps.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Totally.
Yeah,
Um,
he taught Buddy Rich. No.
can I ask if it's not a dodgy subject, what happened to Chris? You mentioned he used to have a partner.
hmm I mean, he's still alive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you didn't kill him.
No, I didn't know. No, I mean, it just, well, the funny thing is that we really started this company as like a side hustle to our normal jobs.
Right.
And and so then it just started growing. And, I mean, I just think that like we had different visions. We kind of grew apart a little bit. And then in 2020, we just decided to part ways. And so I bought him out and then just continued
And were you
doing it
both
myself.
drummers? I know you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. He was a drummer as well. Is a drummer as well.
Yeah. So tell
Because
us
he's
a
not
bit
dead.
about the drum, the drum side of your life in terms of playing. What do you do? What do you
Sure.
play?
Yeah. I had a gig yesterday. I play in a band here in Santa Barbara called the Sticky Tables, and we are about as our stature is about as small as you can possibly get. Like we're kind of an unknown local band, but no, we do all instrumental tunes. So a lot of like surf and other instrumental stuff like 50s, 60s, 70s mostly. We're a trio, and so we just like play at breweries and just stuff around town. But I've been playing since I was in sixth grade, so pretty standard story where um, you get into sixth grade here, you can either join the band or the choir. I chose the band. Um, then you get your choice of instrument, and oh, there it is. Yeah, there's our website. Um, I chose to play drums because it just sounded cool, and I've been doing it ever since. So played in rock bands and high school, college, after college. The funny thing though is that I took about 15 years off from playing in bands.
Right.
I started this band, the Sticky Tables, about 2 years ago, but before that, it had been like 15 years, and I kept playing all the time. Like I had a drum kit at home, and I would. It was at a drum room in the basement, and I would go and play, for 20 minutes almost every day, and just, kind of just as, you know, a way to have fun, right? But I didn't play with anyone for a long time. And it's funny because I've been with my wife for 15 years, and for the first like 13 years of our relationship, she'd never seen me play music with anyone else. And so, um, you know, at some point I was just like, I want to play music again. I want to get back out there and, like play with people and play in front of people. And so been doing this band for a couple years, and I mean, it's like we play like one show a month. Like it's nothing crazy, but it's like enough for me to kind of get what I need. We practice once a week. We play out once a month, which is like perfect. I mean, I feel
In the
like for my
dream.
emotional health, it's great.
And what's your personal choice of beta?
Oh, I use the standard felt daddy beater with this band. Although we just added a third member, we were just a guitar and drums duo for a long time. And with that, I actually use the Puff Daddy, the lamb's wool beater.
Puff Daddy.
Because it's kind of like yeah, I know I might have to change the name after all the recent
Yeah,
legal issues. I, I just love that beater, like because you can just get this really warm tone out of it, but like if you dig in, like it still kind of like cuts through the mix pretty well. But then we added a bass player, and I found that I just needed a little bit something more, so I switched to using the Felt Daddy beater with that band.
And so the Daddy is the heavier weight thing, isn't it?
Well, yeah, no. So we standard and lightweight are the two weights. That's what we call them.
Okay.
And then the first, so when we first started the company, we only had the wood beater. And then we decided to do the leather version, and we needed a name for it. And there was like an episode of Arrested Development where like there was this joke about Leather Daddy. And one of the drummers who was testing the beater out for us, like kept on calling it the Leather Daddy. We're like, okay, that sounds like a cool name.
I didn't realize. So Daddy is leather.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so we do the Leather Daddy, the Felt Daddy, and the Puff Daddy. So all the ones that are not all wood have the daddy at the end, and then if it's the lightweight version, we just add lightweight to the front. So the lightweight Leather Daddy. That's how that's those are the official names for them. Which, you know what, they're silly, but it's a lot better than calling it the BD 102X.
Yeah.
Or whatever, because I mean that's what most companies just have, like a boring model number. So I don't want to do that.
Yeah, we don't want to have one made out of sugar.
No, we don't.
Yeah, I like that. I like the because I'm a daddy. So I like that.
Yeah. There you go.
You could do the mummy ones as well, but I mean that was just getting a bit creative here, having a bit of a brainstorm. So your felt beaters, sorry, your fluff, the puff, can it?
Mm-hmm.
Can you have a lightweight and a standard weight or heavier weight version of the fluff?
Yeah, either or.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so the way to think of it is there are two sizes, and with either size you can have one of four striking surfaces. So there's really like 8 models that we do.
Yeah, cool.
Turning the tables slightly, as we're sort of coming to the end, is there anything you'd like to ask us, Jeremy?
Yeah,
is that barber?
Before we hit record here, Matt was explaining to me how a lot of your listeners, or I guess who you try to appeal to, are younger drummers or beginning drummers, people who haven't been playing for a long time. And I mean, also the fact that you work in a drum shop one day a week, sometimes you're a little bit more on the ground to it. I mean, how do you see the world of drumming right now for people who are just getting started? Like, is it healthy? Are there a lot of people who are picking up the instrument, or is it something we need to be nervous about?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, the podcast is. I wanted to the podcast initially when I sort of started it was to be an opportunity to be able to talk about things without too much restriction, because in some groups or some Facebook groups there's always a restriction because a moderator, and I don't mean to like go off and abuse people or to be rude or whatever, but I mean to just be able to have a bit of a free speech about certain things, and also to appeal to the older drummers that are just starting out. And because a lot of there's things like there's a competition called the Young Drummer of the Year that Mike Dalbert hosts, and it's now gone over to Zildjian as well, so it's become an international thing. I saw Peter Erskine was promoting it the other day, I think. So there's a lot of concentration on because we need new stock, we need new customers, we need new drummers coming through. Can't just talk about the older people. But I also like the idea of it of older people thinking, oh, I've missed the boat, or it's too late for me, or whatever. So I like to really, because we're older. Um, I'm 53. Legally, we can't say how old Riza is because the CS because of the certain agencies.
Trojans. I'm 59, but I didn't start playing until I was 31, so
No,
So it's a
interesting.
good example.
relatively late.
And my original co-host started at started at probably 40, I don't know, 46, can't remember. And we're all part of Mike Johnston's Mike'sLessons.com originally.
Oh, yeah.
That's where we all met. We met a lot of this new wave of my third midlife crisis, and the there's a big majority. There's a large majority of older drummers there that are starting drumming, but they're older. And actually, could you just show us your T-shirt there, Rita? Could you show me the T-shirt? Because he never wears a T-shirt with a. So out of the group, Riza has met his girlfriend Mel, who's been
Oh, wow.
who's been in on the podcast a few times, and we've met up. And I think she's playing on Saturday, isn't she? Is that happening? Would I say that?
Doing a couple of songs with
Yeah.
one of my bands, The Breaks, on Saturday.
Cool.
I think meet her through Mike's group.
Oh, didn't meet. I didn't. Sorry, I thought
I
you
met her
did.
through Craig. I don't know if you know Craig Blundell, Jeremy. But I met.
I know
him
the
through
name.
that. Yeah, plays with Steve Hackett and Steve
Okay.
Wilson.
Steve Wilson.
But I met him through that group, really.
But what has happened out of this community is we've made a lot of new friends through the Mike Johnson family Facebook page, where you share videos of your progress and all that. And there's some spin-off WhatsApp groups and things like that. So we set the podcast up really as a bit of hit the mic time, a bit of a conversation between, because it's a very supportive kind of community. So, I'm feeling a bit crap about this. I can't do this. And there's a lot of, go on, patting on the back, off you go, you can do it, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that there's a really, I see a really flourishing group of people that want to play the drums, that have or haven't, did when they were younger, gave up because of life and children or what have you, and then coming back. And a lot of the customers that come in, there's a mixture of little Johnny with mum and dad that's just getting into it and wants to start, or has started and done a few lessons and they want to get a kit. And then we've got a lot of the older people that are similar age to me, mostly younger, but they've had to give up because of whatever reason. The kids have moved out. Now they've got space and they've got a bit of disposable income. They can now buy the dream kit. And sometimes people can't hardly pick up a stick, but they go and buy a £3,000 or £4,000 electric kit, or a real, so I shouldn't say real, an acoustic kit. So yeah, it's amazing how busy it is. I mean, I was genuinely shocked. The shop that I work at is not just a drum shop. It's not known necessarily. I mean, originally it was, to be fair, but it's a guitar shop and keyboards and pro audio, and the drum section is quite small now. However, it's got a legacy, a reputation of drums, and it's pretty busy. Can get very, very hectic. A lady came in this weekend. She was looking for, £600 drum kit for her son to have at her house when she has him on the weekends. And he's on, like, just started his grades and he's okay, but she went out with a £1,600 drum kit, because we talked about TD17 and the advantages and stuff like that. So people are spending money on drums, and the acoustic electric thing is always a bit of a battle. I say whatever works. So whatever gets you into drumming, whatever you can use, because where we live, I mean, in London and southeast, sort of where we are, there's a lot of population. We're all together. There's a lot of apartments, flats, not flat tires, and there's a lot of people on top of each other, so they can't have live drum kits in their house all the time.
Right.
So whatever gets you interested, because if you buy an electric kit and you start, then maybe you go into college or uni or whatever, and then you buy another, acoustic kits, and it's it's a very buzzing, and I see it as a very positive, and we're up, we're doing well. Um, so I think I think it isn't. I think it's great, and the UK drum show, if you ever get to come down,
Mm-hmm.
UK drum show is the place to be. It is. It's happening, and it's a wonderful place, and I will book my ticket the day they come on sale. And I don't care who's going. I don't wait for the artist list because I'm not necessarily going for them. I'm going for, I know Riza, I don't know if you're going this time, but I go for the people that I'm going to see that I know. I'm going to see
Yeah.
the guys in the shops and the stands that are there in the retail. I'm going to see the education stage. Some, drummers from all over the world, from California, from, Asia, from all over Germany, Europe, whatever. It's a massive place, and it's things like that that keep it going, and hopefully podcasts when we're talking about this stuff. There's a few podcasts that are popping up. There's quite a few that are already around, and in fact, we've got an interview with another podcast on Friday from Australia. Because I like to interview with other podcasts about drums because it's not
Mm-hmm.
about competition. It's about feeding in to this business, which hopefully benefits small businesses like yourself that are making, your product and getting that spoke about. So I'm not saying that we've got thousands and hundreds of millions of listeners, but I do splash it as much as I can all over social media. And we, if we get a few customers for someone who's spent a few hours or an hour with us, then it's making the world go round, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, what you're just saying about community too is important. I mean, from the Facebook group that you were talking about with Mike's students to going to drum shows, and it's like a family reunion every time
Yeah.
you go. You see people that like you only see at that drum show, like we've done like Chicago drum show and Music City drum show, Nashville and the NAMM show, and
Yeah.
it's always good to like see old friends and just reconnect with people who like who share something special. Like I have friends who are drummers, but of course the majority of my friends are not drummers or not musicians. So like, you can't have in-depth conversation. Like I can't talk like this with most of my friends.
Try
Because
try
it would be
talking
just
to
so boring.
try talking to a guitarist about bass drum beaters.
Yeah,
See
right,
how-
exactly. Yeah. Watch their eyes glaze
Do you
over.
prefer leather as well?
But this is
Yeah.
the whole point of this.
Right.
Is the whole point of this.
Mhm.
Tim, do you know Tim Bortes? Have you met him?
Yeah. I love Tim.
So,
Mhm.
so Tim, he was on the show a little while ago.
Yeah, I
He's come
watched
to
that.
France. He's going to be in the UK drum show this year with Rusty Drums.
Yeah.
So, uh, he was, he was so, I don't know, so nice to talk about drums with people that have moved all over the world, and we had Christy Neddens in, which is going to be out this week. We've had Benny Greb. We've only for a short while whilst we was at a show with him. We've had Richard Spaven, who's a bit of a dude over here, and Zach Grooves, and quite a few others that I'm now going to be embarrassed that I've forgotten who. Riza, obviously, and Mel, they've been in. But yeah, it's not the whole point of this is not just about getting in superstars or what have you. It's about normal people talking about drums, getting some kind of therapy sometimes out of it because it is a little bit like that,
Mhm.
and getting excited about something, generating an interest in creating something, because it's not just we like buying stuff. It's not just about buying gear. It's about making something. I wouldn't know
Yeah.
Riza if it wasn't for this, and if it wasn't for me, if it wasn't for Mike's lessons, I wouldn't have known Riza. Then
Mhm.
out of Mike's lessons, I've created this podcast out of having that confidence to talk about things. And I played. Riza dragged me down to. Him and Mel have been nagging me for a while to go and play because the last time I played out, well, I can't say this anymore, but up until recently, the last time I played was 1997. So
Okay,
I,
so we were kind of in the same.
yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah. So in '97, I kind of went from drumming into sound engineering and writing drum and bass music and stuff because the guy at college was much better than me. So I kind of gave up. But I came back to it, and I've been playing for the last 15 or so years at home, doing doing uploading videos and things, and obsessing over it. But actually, only a few months ago, or a month ago, 2 months ago, Riza said, "We have a jam down the road. The guy's left-handed, or he's right-handed, but he plays a left-handed kit, which I am left-handed, and I play left-handed. Um, I'm not Ringo, and so I." He said, "Look, they start off with a left-handed kit, come down, and then they change it around for the righties for everyone else." But
Yeah.
so I played for first time in 25 years or so, whatever it might have been. And now I'm hooked. And I had a good jam last week, and it's a bit nervous because you don't know what you're going to play, and it's generally blues, and I'm not particularly like good with remembering what titles are. And they tell me it's in G, and I don't care. I want to know what.
Right. Totally.
Yeah, then it goes to F. Oh, cheers. Thank you.
Hmm.
That's really helpful.
Okay,
But
I'll
yeah,
be able to follow that. Don't worry.
yeah, cool. But yeah, so it is really, and this is why it's important to have people like yourself in. It's not for, we're not doing this for anything other than, you know, pushing it around, generating some interest and actually probably a bit of therapy for ourselves.
Yeah.
You know,
And Riza, why did you start playing drums? You said it was late in life, but what was it something you always
I
wanted to do, or?
Yeah, my dad was I'm Sri Lankan originally.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was born here, but my parents were both Sri Lankan. And my dad was a percussionist, played
Mm.
bongos and congas. And so all through my childhood, he kind of taught me how to play the bongos and that sort of thing. I always wanted to play kit. Um, and one of my memories is when I was about 12 or 13, my dad saying, "You save up half, I'll pay the other half for a drum kit." I was fixated, Jeremy. I'd listen to records and air drum, and I never saved up half.
Oh
Um,
no.
so I never played. I think I sat at a friend's drum kit once, but I got to 31, I was married, my second daughter had just been born, and I just thought, you know what, I'll just have a drum lesson. And I rang up the teacher and I went along, and in my first lesson, I could hold down beat one, because I've spent so many years air drumming.
Hmm.
Thin Lizzy, I don't know if you know them, but my all-time favourite band. Um,
Yeah.
and I would just air drum, whereas other guys would sing along or air guitar. It was air drumming for me. So I had one lesson and I was totally hooked. And I've studied ever since. I've studied with so many teachers here because I need to. I've always got this feeling that I'm playing catch up with guys like you who've been learning since you were in the sixth grade, and Matt,
Mm.
since he was, God knows how, I don't know how old you were when you started that.
me,
Yeah.
I was 16, but I did it to get out of PE, which is sports.
Yeah.
But
And
guys like you who started as kids did it and learned so much as kids, whereas starting as an adult it takes you 5 times as long to learn shit.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
So
sure.
I've got to put the work in. I'm still studying, still having lessons to this day. Probably, I don't think I'll ever think I'm done deep. But I just
Yeah.
love it, and I'm not involved at the business end like you guys are. I'm just a pub drunk, basically.
But I mean, the playing, really, that's what we're all doing it for, right? Is to make music. Like, I mean,
Yeah, true.
that's the point.
yeah,
Oh,
I,
yeah.
Yeah.
I also like wrapping drums and fixing them. So this is my
Oh.
my old Beverly kit that I re-wrapped with Delmar Ice Blue,
Oh yeah.
and
Beautiful.
it's a bit of a mishmash of an Olympic and a Beverly, but it's got all matching hardware, so it is badged as a Beverly. But yeah, I love wrapping drums and I've made a couple of shells. I've done not made the shells, but I've built quite a few drums. There's a guy in the UK called Preston Prince. He does Tiki a company called Tiki Drums, Tiki Drums.
Hmm.
And he does like snare drum building courses and drum kit building courses,
Oh, cool.
which was life changing for me really, because after that I kept building drums and fixing drums and rewrapping drums. So yeah,
Yeah, I'd like to do that. There's some guys in the US that do those snare clinics or courses too. I'd like to do that someday.
yeah, it's just great to have a drum that you've chosen the spec and you've cut it down. You know, you've done the bearing edges, the snare beds, and then you've drilled it or what have you. Or even if you get to the bit when you're building the layers, then even better.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love it. We're just basically obsessed. And Riza like has been more of a player than me. I play at home a lot and record videos and like making videos and getting sound and all that. But my next thing is to join a band, because at the moment I'm just getting out into the shallow water doing some um, jams. But I think it's
Yeah.
time to find a band. I just need to find a band. The problem is I'm too old, but I want to play younger music. So I want to play like jazzy, hip hoppy, trip hoppy, drum and bass stuff. Not necessarily blues or
Stuff from the
covers.
90s, you mean?
Well, stuff from the
Yeah,
90s,
right,
yeah.
totally.
I used to write
He's
that
down
stuff.
with the kids, Jeremy.
Yeah.
No, no, no,
for
no. It's all
sure.
it's back in. It's all back in. It's all back in.
Uh, yeah,
Because
unlike me, for somehow I'm in a band playing music from the 50s. I don't know how that happened, but it's
yeah,
like
but that goes with that goes with where you live as well, though, doesn't it?
it does. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
happy music.
We all just love to play, don't we? I don't care what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Who's
I
your
always
favorite
say,
drummer?
Um, I mean,
We'll round it up, but I just want to know that.
my favorite, that's such a tough one because I mean, like honestly, I would have to go with Bonham, but I feel like that's what most people would say. But or a lot of people, not most people, but a lot of people. Um, I would say though, growing up, one drummer who had a huge influence on me was actually Will Calhoun. Like I was like really into Living Color
Hey, do you
when I
know
was when I was a kid.
I saw him play a few months ago on a jazz gig in London,
Oh, really?
and he was absolutely incredible.
I bet.
Um, but this was a pure jazz gig. I can't remember the name of the guy he was out with. And I just saw this advertisement came up on the Facebook feed, and I thought I'll grab that. It was like tomorrow night, and I was so surprised because he appeared to play jazz so authentically, like a
Hmm.
jazz, not a rock player or however you might describe him, not one of those trying jazz. He was on it and authentic,
Wow.
absolutely incredible.
And he actually had like a light touch. I mean, because with him, like he's so powerful, like I can't even.
Touch. It was a four-piece, one up, one down kit.
Wow.
He had quite a lot of cymbals, but not a shed load of toms or anything. And just was, if you didn't know that was Will Cahoon, you would have thought this is some old jazzer.
Yeah. That's cool. Oh, that's so cool, man. What a great experience.
Yeah, it was. It was.
Nice.
What about your current
Yeah.
current person of today, right now? Who's the person you watch now?
Oh, um,
I'm surprised you didn't say Hal Blaine because of your
right.
surf. Well,
Yeah, totally. Um, that's a good question. Actually, this will kind of you say today, but this is someone who's also been around for like 30 years, so it's going to be kind of funny, but like I really like watching drummers like Glenn Cochi, from Wilco, people who add a lot of different textures into their music, into their drumming, because I think like for me, as I've matured as a drummer, I'm in, this is probably how a lot of drummers um change as they get older. Like I'm less interested in chops. I'm less interested in, just like playing loud. And it's more about like what are the little things that I can do that add texture to this song, or that makes the music interesting, or like piques the attention of someone in the audience. So I mean, if you're just having just like wood blocks or tambourines or shakers or like whatever it is in your setup that just is kind of like different than the regular just four on the floor kind of stuff. I'm really into that. And like Glenn Coachy is one guy who to me like is kind of a master of that, like creating textures on the drum kit. So yeah, I'll go with Glenn.
Nice.
Something I'm not good at, but Craig Blundell is a big pusher of this in his teaching. Is to try and add in little touches in your playing that no one will notice at gig, except another drummer might go, "Oh, that was nice. What did he do there?" Just these tiny little things. And I've, in the last few years, been trying to work on my left foot on the hats, but just adding in a few checks in between beats and on the partials of the beat, whilst you're playing with your stick. No one notices. But if there's another drummer there, they might go, "That's a bit tasty."
Yeah, they'll notice that, and it probably adds a little bit of like swing, or a little, like makes your groove a little bit deeper.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like that though. No, I'm gonna keep that in mind. Something that only another drummer would notice. All right, I'm gonna keep that in mind.
Keep that in mind.
Excellent.
Jeremy, do you have anything you wanted to say about your business that we haven't asked you, just in case there's something we've completely forgotten? Like, how about mentioning the website and your Instagram, your social, and things like that?
Yeah, for sure. The website is lowboybeaters.com. On Instagram and TikTok, we're at lowboybeaters. So check us out there. Instagram is like our main channel, and I'm like 5 years behind, but I'm trying to do more on TikTok these days.
I try as well. It's
it's
a bit scary that you press the wrong thing and you're going to do something crazy.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, that's where people can find us.
Cool.
Thank you, Jeremy. Can I just say, drummers, buy a low boy beater. It will change your life.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. And Matt, I'm excited to get a couple beaters off to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna join the club. In fact, there should be like a little club, shouldn't there? Like a membership number or something,
We could form a fan club, but
yeah.
I'll leave that up to you guys to start, because I think
we'll
traditionally, like the band wouldn't start a fan club, right? You'd have someone else do it. So you guys, start it up, and I'll support you.
And just where we started off, I just thought I'd bring this into it.
There you go.
My CHP chips patch.
I love it, man.
During this, I did text my son and said, "Go and get my patch." It was on the wall in the studio. So he passed it to me. He didn't even notice.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Well, it's been absolutely amazing to speak to you. Thank you for your time. And we'll stay in touch.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Great to meet you, Jeremy. And,
yeah, likewise.
Hope to speak to you soon.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Follow us on Instagram at The Drum Shed Podcast. Thanks for listening.